Okay, in this video, we're going to be focused on how to create a classic EasyVSL. So now that we have kinetic themes as well, if you guys have used EasyVSL in the past, version 1.0 or version 2.0, the kind of classic VSLs that you can create with the software, that's what we're calling it. We're calling it classic. So I'm going to walk through the process. If you've never done it before, I'll walk you through it step by step. If you've done it before, you've probably, the process is still very, very similar. So what you're going to do is click on new VSL, and you can either you can start from scratch, which allows you to manually create each and every slide. Okay, now obviously the power of EasyVSL is the second option, which is pasting your text in. So we highly recommend writing down your script, whatever the video is for, just that script on a Word doc or a notepad, and then pasting it in. Okay, you can do it slide by slide if you'd like to, but it goes much faster if you do it this way. So you're going to make sure you select classic style, and then you're going to give this video a name. So I'm just going to call this demo number 1, and then I have my script. I'm just going to open it up, and here it is on this Word doc. So I'm just going to keep that handy. So now I'm going to click OK, and it's going to take you to the design settings. This is where you can pick your the theme that you want to have, or the slide template that you want to use throughout your presentation. Now you can break it up if you want to. You could have half of the presentation one theme, and then the other half another theme. It's a little bit more manual that way, but you can do it. We've given you, I believe there's something like 40 different template themes that you can choose from. And you also have the ability to upload your own image right here, your own theme. So I would recommend making the theme 16 by 9, right? So like 1280 by 720 pixels is the format for HD videos. So you'll want to upload your own theme in 16 by 9 format. Okay, you can do just a straight color if you want to for the background. You could do a gradient, and then you have all of these different options here. So for this example, I'm just going to choose this picture frame. And then you can also choose if you want to have animations. Now this will animate slide by slide, okay, and it'll just give it a little bit more flair. So we have a fade, slide up, slide down, slide left, bounce in. It's completely up to you. You don't have to use a slide animation, but it will just give an animation for the transition of the slide. Okay, then you can choose what font you want. So we have lots of different fonts that you can choose from for obviously the text for your videos, and then the color as well. So by default, it's this dark gray. You can make it any color you want to. Okay, so these are just all of your design preferences. Once you've done that, you're going to click on next, and it's going to bring you to the area where you copy and paste your script in. So right here, I'm just going to take this script and I'm just going to copy it directly into EasyVSL. So what you need to do here on this screen is tell EasyVSL where to break up each slide. Okay, and we give you this little what's called a tick or a marker, and this is known as a slide marker, and you can just click on that button once, and then you can highlight it and then do Control C to copy it, and then you can do Control V to paste it. And what I usually do is I'll break it up by each line. But if you notice that there's it's a very long sentence, you may want to put a breaker like in the middle of the sentence. Okay, obviously we're going to change the size of the font so it all fits on one slide, okay, regardless of how much text you have. But so just for consistency's sake, I would try to keep each line this around the same amount of characters if you can, but you don't have to. Okay, so I'm just going to go through here, and I'm just going to put all of my breaks where I want each slide to stop or start and stop. Okay, and there we go. So now I've added all of my breaks, and now I'll just click on next, and it's going to give you a summary. It's going to show you all of the text that's going to be on each slide, and you can go in here and you can actually edit or tweak it if you need to, or you can remove a section if you need to. And then after you've done this, then that's when it locks. Like you can't edit this once you go past this step. So you want to make sure that all of your slides and all the text that you want on the slides are good and ready to go, because once you click next, it's going to build out the entire presentation for you. Okay, so I'm going to click on next, and as you can see, it built out that entire presentation or slideshow. Now you can go in and you can edit Oops, you can go in here and edit the text if you want to, okay, just by double clicking on it, and you can change the size. If you've worked with PowerPoint or Keynote, it's very similar to that extent on the edit slide area, right? You can do undo and redo. You can change the alignment. You can add underlines and italicize things, bold, color, font. You can even add images as well. So if I wanted to, I could add a watermark. I could also add something from my media library. Okay. Now, one thing we have added inside of EasyVSL is an integration. So if I wanted to look for, say, a table, okay, I can do a search and it's going to try to find a whole bunch of images that are related to whatever I'm searching for. So we have a built-in library that you can use to start adding images to your different slides if you want to. Okay, now you can go in here and you can upload your own images. Okay, it's completely up to you, but we do have this built-in library, and that's a new feature that we've added inside of EasyVSL. Okay. So now you can see we have all the different slides here. If you want to, you can duplicate a slide, you can delete a slide if you need to, but going back from to the design settings, you're not able to do that. Okay. Now, once we have our presentation how we want it to, okay, we're going to there's a few other things I want to mention. Okay, you can do what's called a bulk action. So say that I wanted to update all of the slides on here. I can click on bulk action and I can go to change the slides theme. So maybe I want to change it to this one. As you can see, it changed all of the different slides. Okay, I'm going to put it back to the picture frame, but you can do a bulk action that way. You can also, and this is a new feature in version 3.0, is open sound effects. So you can have transition sound effects for each slide. Okay, and you can preview them. Okay, just by clicking the plus, and then you just select which transition you want. And so I'm doing a bulk action, so this will make this bullet sound for each of the different slides. Okay, then you can also do, we have text effects as well. So if I wanted the text to come on to the screen with some sort of effect, right now we have two. We have blur and scramble, but we'll be adding more. And maybe when you're watching this video, we already have more. So you can go in here and you could actually see what it would look like. So there's the blur, and then here's the scramble. So if you want to just have some more animation to it, you can do that. Okay, so if you don't click on bulk action, it's obviously only going to apply to the one slide. Okay, but if you want it to be site-wide or presentation-wide, you'll do the bulk action. Okay, so that's everything inside of your edit slides area. Once you are done with that, you can click on next. Okay, and this is when you're going to want to sync your slides with your audio. Okay, now there's two different ways to do this. If you've used version 1.0 or version 2.0 in the past, there was only one way to do this. You had to manually listen to your audio and then click on the check marks when you wanted it to slide. So let me show you option number one. So I'm going to add the audio. Okay, now I already recorded a voiceover, but you can use our built-in audio recorder, or we also have text to speech. So you can have EasyVSL create an audio file for you based on the text that you have on your slides. Okay, for this example, I'm just going to import an audio file, and so I'm going to choose an audio file, and I'm going to find my voiceover file. I'm going to click on OK. It's going to import the sound. Okay, and it adds it right here to the timeline. Now the timeline, I can zoom in, I can zoom out. If you've ever used any type of video editor in the past, you probably are familiar with something like that. But there's my voiceover, and then say I want to also add a background image, or a background audio file. Okay, I'm going to click on audio, add another file, and here's my background track. Now you can only import WAV files and MP3 files, so you need to make sure it's in one of those two formats, okay? Which is kind of the industry standard for sound, okay? So now you'll see that I have my background track and then my voiceover. Now you'll notice that my background track is much longer than my voiceover. So what I can do is I can just drag here, and it's flushed now with that, and now the voiceover will end when the background ends, and vice versa. So now let me show you the manual way for syncing my slides with the audio. So right now you would click on play, and as you hear the audio file play, you would start to make these what are called ticks. Okay, so let me show you. Hi, my name is Mark Thompson. In the next 2 minutes, I'm going to share with you a secret that over 30,000 marketers just like you have discovered that instantly save them. Okay, so there's a few things that you may have noticed here. The background track was very loud. So what I can do is, you can see this audio marker. I can go ahead and tone that down a little bit so that my voiceover can be heard clearly, and the background track is not drowning out my voiceover. So I'm just going to put it to like right here, and now you'll start to see that there's these little timeline here that shows when each slide is going to transition. So now if I slide this back to the first one, you'll notice that the first 4 slides that I synced are all going to be good. So, hi, my name is Mark Thompson. In the next 2 minutes, I'm going to share with you a secret that over 30,000 marketers just like you. Okay, so I noticed that the audio track was still a little bit too loud for the background, so I just toned that down a little bit, and you can see that it synced it fine, right? So that's how you would normally do it. You would just go all the way through here and sync all of the slides based on listening to your voice. Okay. Now, in one of the new features that we have in version 3.0 is being able to automate this 100%. Okay. So I'm going to start from scratch here. I'm just going to remove all these markers, and I'm going to start from slide 1. And what I can do is click on this auto speech recognition. So what happens is you click on that, and it's going to ask you for your username and password. And we show you in another video how to get your username and password. We're using something called IBM Watson, which is artificial intelligence, to be able to sync your slides with your audio automatically. So you put in your username and password. You only need to do that once. You select the audio track that has your voice on it. Okay, it's very important, because if you have multiple tracks, you may have a background track. We obviously don't want to sync the background track. We want to sync it with your voice. So you need to make sure that you select the proper the proper file or track, and then also select the proper language. Okay, so obviously I speak English, so I'm going to click on OK. So now it's going to go through this whole process of syncing the audio with the slides. Now, this could take a few seconds, it could take a few minutes, depending on how long your presentation is. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this until it's done. Okay, so it's done, and you can see that it automatically added all of my synced slides. So now you can go ahead and review this, and of course you can adjust this if you want to. You can always just click on a slide and see how it's highlighted, and you can zoom in, and you can just click here, and you can drag it either to the left or to the right if you need to adjust the transition at all. But it's very accurate when it comes to just this auto speech feature, which is super cool. So watch what happens when I click on play. Hi, my name is Mark Thompson. In the next 2 minutes, I'm going to share with you a secret that over 30,000 marketers just like you have discovered. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but obviously, as you can see, that this is a kind of a game changer when it comes to this software. Not having to manually go and sync this, it does it automatically. It saves you so much time now. So now that we have, now that we're all set. I mean, this is ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and just click on save, and then you can click on publish. Now, publish, there's a few options. You can change the video quality if you want to. Obviously, the lower the video quality, the smaller the file is going to be. But if you want the best quality, I'd make it, obviously the file is going to be larger, but you'll have the best quality. So I'm going to give this a name. So call this demo. You can add some metadata inside of the video as well if you'd like. Okay, and so I'm just going to choose a destination. I'm just going to put this on my desktop for right now, and I'm going to click on OK, and it's going to render the video. Okay, now it's finally done, and you can either open the video, or wherever it is on whatever location it is, you can show in the folder. You can also directly upload to YouTube, Vimeo, and Wistia, and you can just click on one of these buttons and then connect your account, and then you can upload the file that way. But let me just show you the finished product. So here it is right here. Hi, my name is Mark Thompson. In the next 2 minutes, I'm going to share with you a secret that over 30,000 marketers just like you have discovered So I don't know if you could hear the transition effect that we put in there, but that's what it sounds like. So as you can see, it synced the whole presentation, and everything is good. So that's how you go about creating a classic EasyVSL.